Hello everyone, my name is Buddy Stark. I manage Longway Planetarium, and we spent the early part of this summer creating a series of videos for our community, intending to give them scientific things to do at home, or scientific activities, I should say, to do at home with their families, with their young children, and also sometimes skewing a little older as well. We were trying to really capture as many people as we could, because at the time this was back at the stay-at-home order, where a lot of us were not going out hardly at all, and so we wanted to provide something that allowed people to stay mentally active and engaged and continue practicing some scientific thought. So I'm going to put on some clips, because as you know, 3 to 5 minutes is not very long, and I think the best way to do this is just to narrate some of the clips that we have, or some short snippets of the videos that we put out, to kind of show you a broad overview of the types of things that we did. So without further ado, we'll get started. This first activity is aimed at younger children, and it's just a simple does it sink or does it float activity where they predict whether or not an object would sink or float, and then we tested it in a bucket. We wanted every one of our activities to be something that we had a reasonable assurance that people had everything they needed at home, so they didn't have to run out to the store or do anything else. They would just be able to set it up and do it with their children. And you can see here we also went into things like boats with aluminum, different shapes of aluminum. Sometimes it would sink, sometimes it would float. We had a couple of other density activities as well. This is one talking about the density of water depending on its temperature. So the first time they removed the piece of paper there, the cold water is on top, and you might have seen there it was also yellow. But because the cold water is more dense, it mixes with the blue hot water beneath it very quickly, and you get a green jar. The second time, the hot water is the stuff on top. And so as they remove the card here, you can see a little bit of the momentum carrying that hot water down, but it quickly stops. And you can see that those stay separate. So this is another example of one of the activities we did with density, and you can see this is another thing people would have on hand at home. We quickly realized, because we are a planetarium, that people could practice their constellation finding and practice their stargazing while keeping socially distant. You just go out in your own backyard. So we did a lot of tutorials teaching folks where to look for certain constellations. This is Joe pointing out the winter circle, which at the time was still in the sky. This is one of our earlier videos. In the early spring, you can still find the winter circle in the sky. Another type of thing that we did was offer sort of historical science puzzles to the public and ask them to see if they could solve what the scientists solved. So this is me talking about the classic Eratosthenes calculating the circumference of the Earth. And here I'm drawing both the well in Cyrene and the tower that he constructed near his library and measured, the angle of the shadow there, at the same time as he knew the sunlight was shining straight down in the well in Cyrene. And I filmed as two-part videos that were posted a few days apart from each other. And the first part was just talking about the information that the scientist had on hand at the time. And I didn't explain how they solved it. I just said, it's doable. It's with what you know, this is definitely solvable. Try it, see if you can figure it out for yourself. And then a few days later, I would post the solution of the scientists and ask if anyone came up with any other solutions. And so we got a lot of good response from this. We typically had about 300 views per video, 350. The highs were in the low thousands, so we did get up to 1,000 a couple times, and 600 and 700 a few times, but typically we had about 350 views per video. And so, yeah, it was a lot of fun, and we hope we had some impact on keeping people sort of mentally active in their homes. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for watching. Again, this is from Longway Planetarium, and my name is Buddy Stark, and I hope you enjoyed it.